Coach, thanks for joining me again today, and congratulations on the win on Saturday.
Appreciate it. The guys played hard.
Yeah, it was an interesting game because I wasn't sure where it was going to go in the first half. But your defense really seemed to play great. I mean, looking at what Bloom had done, they had scored a lot of points in every game coming into Saturday. And
Yeah,
you guys held them to seven.
yeah, it was a physical game. And I'm proud of our defense for stepping up. And we created some turnovers and we harassed their quarterback most of the day. They were averaging 35 points a game going into last Saturday. Um, but our guys showed up and played pretty well. We still made mistakes and there's things to clean up. But defensively, they had a 99-yard drive on us that scored that touchdown, which was disappointing.
Yeah,
But we couldn't get off the field.
yeah,
We went third and long or whatever, and just weren't able to make the plays. So that was the most disappointing part of the day for us, is letting them drive 99 yards.
yeah.
But other than that, like I said, we were able to create some turnovers at big plays, and time of possession wise, we had I think over 10 minutes more than they did or something like that. So.
Yeah. What
Um,
about like what I noticed that time of possession you guys dominated them. What I see 6 for 13 or something on third downs though. You guys just couldn't convert thirds. You had a lot of yards. You just couldn't get in
yeah,
the end zone.
we rushed for over 100 yards, but the sacks took us back, below that. I think we lost 30 some yards in sacks.
Oof. Yeah.
And it was just, it was just, somebody not doing their job. Assignment sound football wasn't there. So
Mhm.
just little things like that. We moved the ball up and down the field again, and we were two for five in the red zone.
Yeah.
Um, that's like the danger zone for us right now. We get in there and we just don't do well. So,
Yeah.
of course, it's been a big emphasis at practice for the last few weeks because that's been our Achilles tendon or Achilles heel. So we're working hard at it. We were able to run the ball, like you said. Leonard ran hard on Saturday,
Mhm.
and we were efficient passing the ball. Didn't do a ton of it, but enough to keep them moving. And probably the biggest play of the game was the onside kick coming
Yeah.
out halftime, and that really came about Wednesday, sitting in our staff meeting, and we were talking about special teams. And I said, we need to have some stuff in special teams wise to make people at least get it on film, even if it doesn't work. And so the bunt kickoff type of thing.
Mhm.
So we put that in on Wednesday, and then at halftime on Saturday, I was in the locker room looking at the iPad and watching the time that we kicked off, watching what they did, and the front line was 14 yards deep to begin with, and they started leaving early.
Mhm.
So I was in it could have went either way. And so I didn't make that decision until they were huddled up to kick the ball, until we were huddled up for kickoff the second half. And I said, let's go with it,
Yeah.
you know. And luckily it worked out for us. And we were able to take that ball there and drive it down and score the touchdown to
Right.
make it, 10-7.
Well,
So
really a huge momentum changer, really. I mean, that was
it
significant.
was.
Yeah.
It was. And,
They seemed a little stunned. Bloomsburg seemed a little stunned after
yeah.
that.
And again, we got to start taking chances and doing some things like that, just to get momentum on our side.
Well, I think the turnover battle. I mean, you guys, would you have three picks
Yeah.
in the game? I mean,
Yeah. And,
that's
the quarterback threw the ball up, a couple times. He was getting sacked, and he just threw the ball up to us.
mhm.
So one interception was the corner cut in front of a guy, made a real nice diving play. The other one was the quarterback was getting sacked, and he just threw the
Yeah.
ball up in the middle of the field. And then the last one was, in the fourth quarter at the end of the game, they tried to do like a pitch pass or reverse pass type of thing. And we got on that kid and he threw it. I think he was trying to throw it out of bounds and didn't get it there.
Didn't
And,
get it there.
and the safety made a diving catch there. So they reviewed it, and they, to make sure
That was a
Clarion,
heck of a catch, though. He was a heck of a
yeah, it
catch.
was a great catch. And Bloomsburg reviewed it, instant replay thing. And And I knew right away because we have iPads, you couldn't see one way or the other.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I figured we had.
I find the instant replay interesting because I've seen a couple of them now, and watching the referees walk to the other end of the field to review it, it is a long process for
Well,
instant.
this one was pretty quick, but I will tell you that the issue is that I only know of one that has been overturned so far.
Yeah.
All right. Because the film quality is so bad, whenever you blow it up, it's just, it just foggy and you can't
It's
see
not
it.
like the NFL where you have 12 cameras on
Correct.
the thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty tough deal. So,
Interesting. Well, let's talk about what lies ahead here. Kutztown, the number of what I think I saw number 5 in the country right now in Division Two, the Super Region, and obviously playing good ball. I think they're 4-0. What are you seeing?
listen, they're good in all three phases of the game, and they work well together.
Mhm.
You wouldn't go there and say they're superstar, one guy's this and that. They just have quality players that play hard. They really do. I really like their quarterback.
Yeah.
He does a really good job. He knows the offense. He knows what he's going to do with the ball. They have good running backs. O-line is again, they're scoring a lot of points a game too, and they're
Mhm.
marching up and down the field on people. Defensively, their D line just attacks and attacks and attacks. And they're able to protect their defensive backs a little bit just because of the pressure they get. How they attack up front. So it's going to be a huge challenge, especially going there. It's a 12 o'clock game. So we're having our players get here around 7 o'clock in the morning. And
Oh, same day trip.
yeah, same day trip, and so it's not ideal that way.
Hmm.
But our guys are gonna, they already know what the deal is, so they got to control what they can control. And right now, we'll do a little walkthrough before we leave here. We'll get on the bus, and we'll have some food for them, and then we'll go and play the game. But we got to have a great week of practice. Right now, Kutztown's, the number one team and
Hmm.
in the East.
Hmm.
Um, and we got to go to their place and we got to play 4 quarters, 60 minutes of football and do it with some swagger, do it with some physicality. And, physicality wins football games.
Yeah.
So that's what we got to do.
Do you see the defense as having stepped up a little bit this past week? I mean, that's a lot going on there with the sacks, the pressures, and the
Yeah.
interceptions.
Listen, I think our defense has played pretty well most of the year. I know the results have not been there,
Mhm.
but we did a decent job against Bowie State in the beginning, just playing physical football, making some mistakes.
Mhm.
Clarion, just crazy things happened that game, but for the most part, played decent defense. And then you go Slippery Rock, and I know it was 42-0. You're like, what the hell are you talking about, Mac? But you know, we gave them 4 touchdowns
Yeah.
in 9 plays, and I say gave it to them because of missed tackle, things like that. We played relatively good defense. We just got to be more consistent at it
Mhm.
and prevent big plays and make people drive down the field.
Yeah.
And so I think the defense is gaining confidence, and I know the more that we have time in the driver's seat, guys are getting better. They're just getting
Mhm.
better as
Yeah.
the year goes on, and that's what you want to see out of a team.
Well, yeah, I think you guys, like you said last week, your goal is to take, it's a whole new goal set really now. You want to work in the East and win the East, and it looks like the West has got some pretty tough teams, and you got to go through that gauntlet yet. But it looks like the East, there's some games there, that
Yeah,
are
there
open.
is. And again, I think any Saturday, who knows what's going to happen. And
Right. Yeah.
as long as we prepare and stay focused, and again, I like us being creative too, doing different things, unexpected things. We got to continue to do that. We got to expand as a coaching staff. We got to continue to do a better job with that too. And ultimately, we're going to have to score some points Saturday. We're not doing a great job at that, and everybody knows it.
Hmm.
So, in order to win games consistently, we got to start scoring some points because we're stressing the defense so much right now.
Hmm.
Every game that little mistakes that the defense might make are magnified big time. So,
like you
Uh,
said, the red zone has been tough, and
and real tough for us.
yeah, once you're
Real
there, you
tough.
got to try and get points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And defensively, we got to play better in the red zone too. So,
yeah.
you know, I just doing practice plan today and doing cards for practice and all that, and we're working red zone a long time today. So, we're gonna get better at it.
Great. All right, Coach. I appreciate the time, man. Good luck this weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right. Sounds good, man. Appreciate everybody. Thanks.